Welcome on in, everybody. This comes from Ursiiday's Pocket Weekly number 2, so obviously the second tournament run by Ursiiday. I definitely encourage everybody to follow, so I will put, the applicable links and stuff, and definitely register. This was actually the biggest Pocket tournament thus far. It was like over 1,000 players. I think it was like over 1,100. So anyway, we're going to see, of course, the competitors are Saitama up on the top, and then TiltingShiba down on the bottom. TiltingShiba from Germany at least registered, and Saitama registered from Japan. Already filling out the benches for most of them. We do have the energy advantage here on the bottom side with TiltingShiba and that Mewtwo EX. They are going to be able to put down the energy first, being that they went second. But you can see that full bench. That can definitely make some people shake in their boots, right? If you're trying to get that Pikachu EX, essentially, with that full bench to deal a 90, but also charge it up pretty quick. Now, they did put the energy on Blitzel. That is a thought, and we're going to have to see if it pays off for them or comes back to bite them, because yes, you will get that damage in right now, as you can see. Maybe try to just chip away, but it was only 20, right? So we are going to see actually a Giovanni go down as well. So TiltingShiba going straight for that KO right here, and that is going to be the Oko with Giovanni. Boom! Oko, oh no. Blitzel is on out of there for that 60 damage, and already, yes, there is a point, and we see Frozen King as the username, but yeah, TiltingShiba was just the limitless TCG name, so that's kind of what we're going with, the registered name. So I think I should say first off, to get this footage, I rely on other streamers. In this case, many thanks to Ursiiday. That was the tournament organizer, as I said at the top, but that means that sometimes there's gonna be other layout components that I didn't put there, like you see the red on the outside and stuff, and then the little phone with the Pokeball and stuff. I did a few edits to try to make this my own presentation for you guys, but again, there's just some things that I cannot edit out. And another one of those components is also going to be if there's an ad that plays, or I try to cut those out actually, but if you see stuttering, the quality is not maybe so great and stuff, that is coming from the streamer side. I have the capabilities to get everything perfect if I could, but hey, I'm not the one streaming this originally, so yeah, I hope that that's okay for you guys. I'm going to try to fix as much as I can though in this presentation right here. You see Mewtwo EX right now. TiltingShiba with that 3 energy will be able to do the 150 on the next turn if needed. Right here's just going to be a 50 on that Zapdos EX, and definitely if you're Saitama, you're trying to be a little bit calculated here, because again, I'm not sure about that Blitzel play. They put the energy on that, and they're also putting they have an energy on Pincurchin, and will likely go into the Peck right now. Obviously, we are going to see Sabrina is actually played right here, so TiltingShiba gonna need to switch out, and they do throw in Jinx, probably one of the better options. You don't want your Ralts to fall, especially if you're going for that Gardevoir. They will actually back out, so instead of dealing damage with that Zapdos, take Zapdos back out here. Could come in handy later. We're just gonna have to see kind of the way that this could play out. I feel could go either way, because these are the 2 finalists. I feel like I didn't even say that yet. These are the finalists of the tournament. So again, a tournament this massive and to have this many people, for them to make it to the top, we gotta hope that they are pretty great competitors, and so hey, that should be seen right here. So this Mewtwo EX deck from TiltingShiba, very much the typical that we've seen of Mewtwo EX decks that, at least in the videos across the few that I've done so far for these tournament spectating commentaries, it's just you do throw in that Jinx. Sometimes they'll have a Kangaskhan and the Jinx or something like that, and so there's usually 1 or 2 card variability that can go to this, and then some people just don't even want anything else to muddy the waters. They just want Mewtwo EXs and the Ralts evolution line, right, to get Gardevoir. But here we go. That's going to be another 50 damage right now. Not to use up that 2 energy, right? You take the 50, keep that full 4 energy right here on Mewtwo EX. And so Pincurchin, I think that's going to be interesting, because they're going to be looking for the coin toss game, right? Going to be looking for the paralysis if they bring Pincurchin into this picture right here. Zebstrika, and if they do choose to put energy on it, okay, there it is. That's what I was going to say, is I was like, it'll still fall, but hey, there's the potion. So this will either bait the 2 energy from Mewtwo if they want that KO on it, or Mewtwo's going to have to attack twice with with the 50 and the 50 to take this down, unless there's a Giovanni in play that they want to use. Of course, for TiltingShiba, we do notice, obviously, Ursiiday, who controlled this stream originally, did cover up the hand, so this is probably more like a typical tourney broadcast, so they will actually retreat the Zeb Strike. I was wondering about that too. See, this is good because a lot of the times when we watch, oh, that's gonna be, oh, so that was a tails right there. The Pincurchin really would have wanted that heads, so they are gonna draw Gardevoir. But I was gonna say, across a lot of these videos, you know, it gets to a point where sometimes we can kind of predict what's gonna happen, but I think at least with this match, this is a good finals match because there are several options to go with here, several different courses and paths to take. That will be the Oko on Pincurchin. They do not want any of that paralysis over there on TiltingShiba's side, plus they were able to kind of over-generate that Mewtwo's energy, give it one so that the 2 discarded Psychic Energy is not going to be so devastating. They're just going to be able to hit with the Oko coming up next. So, yep, there is the concession, and so Saitama going to lose this first round, and TiltingShiba with the victory right here, Mewtwo EX. And so on the stream, they did cut away quickly. I'll try to cut to the next match quickly, but essentially the thinking there was just that they didn't want anyone to be like trying to get into the game. You know, like imagine you leave the game stream up and not hidden. There'd be the private lobby code and someone might try to enter it. I don't know. Hopefully people are using a delay though on their streams. I guess just Ursiiday though, out of an abundance of caution and whatnot. So this will take us straight into game 2 right here. We can see somewhat similar of an opening, except for on Saitama's side, not full bench. Like last time, you know, they had that bench up stacked, ready to go pretty fast. Unfortunately, still resulted in the loss, and so we're gonna have to see, will TiltingShiba kind of pull this the same direction right here? We got Mewtwo EX, once again, that beautiful interactive Mewtwo EX out here on the bench. And so there will be actually a potion could potentially undo that peck if they need to, just in case they need to build up a little bit more energy. Not sure that that's going to be the case. We'll see if there's like an X speed to play or something here on TiltingShiba's side, but no, they will go ahead and yield that to the opponent, and that's okay. You know, the Zapdos would need 3 energy to actually deal any more damage than Peck right now. So Zapdos EX double timing it on Saitama's side. That will be the Peck for 20 once again, and so it's going to be turn number 6 already. I feel like we're moving pretty quick in this thing. Red card goes down right here for TiltingShiba, at least to the hand, I should say, instead of going down. But yeah, that's now Mewtwo EX with 3 energy right here. It is stacked and almost ready to go. You can go for the Oko Ono with Mewtwo and 1 more energy, and that will actually be that red card right here. So that has been played. Saitama probably pretty good. I mean, they had like 6 cards or so decent use of that red right there. We will not exactly ever know, you know, what they were holding on to, but hey, if there was a Pikachu EX lying in wait for some reason, you gotta think, you know, potions, anything that you could imagine that would be valuable from Saitama's side, hopefully to eliminate that if you're TiltingShiba. But here we go. It looks like charging up that Zapdos on the bench, which is fine because you still actually can attack with this Peck right here on this Zapdos. So this will either force the retreat or the sacrifice, likely not the sacrificial. I don't think TiltingShiba is going to want to give up that point, and so likely we'll see the retreat if there's an X speed in their hand. Otherwise, they are going to let it go. So no, yep, there it is. We will see that X speed right here. Retreat costs 1 less, so that's for 0 on Jinx. And throw in the Mewtwo EX. What I do find fascinating with this match and this game ultimately is, you know, a lot of people are scared of the Mewtwo EX, right? You know, I even get comments on the channel here that are saying, you know, like, gosh, that Mewtwo is broken and stuff. I agree, it's something to be scared of, but still, a lot of the times in these tournaments that I've been spectating and featuring, the top #1 player oftentimes, at least more often than Mewtwo, does end up being one of the Pikachu EX decks, and so Saitama is actually going to be attacked for that 150, but I was going to say they do have that kind of still top #1 deck in terms of the numbers and whatnot, but yeah, sometimes you're at the mercy of coin tosses and stuff when it comes to Zapdos. You also are at the mercy of whatever the hand may need to be, you know? So do they have Pikachu EX? If they do, they'd be sitting on it right now. I'm not sure Saitama, I feel like they would have played it by this point. There goes down the Blitzel right here and the Pincurchin. And so again, we just saw it in the last match too, is that Pincurchin could have gotten the paralysis, and it's all about the heads or tails, and so we're gonna have to see, will they get enough heads to knock out the Mewtwo and an Oko Ono? That is gonna be a heads, and then tails and double tails, so that unfortunately will not be enough. That is gonna be 100 damage, and that Mewtwo can still wreck some faces up in here. Not enough energy necessarily though, can't get off the Oko Ono, so we'll see it. Professor's research yields another professor's research, but also that Giovanni in play, and so we'll have to see what TiltingShiba's thought is here, you know, because this is obviously now a little bit higher stakes. Obviously, if you lose the Mewtwo EX, that's going to be 2 prize points for your opponent. If you draw it back, you know, not really seeing other energy placement on other Pokemon currently. Thinking about the potion, still gonna be making their choice here in a second. Enough time, right? We got about 40 seconds, but also sitting here with that energy, you know, do we power this up? Do we try to retreat? So let's see it. Zapdos obviously gonna be able to flip all those coins every time, so it's like you do want it out of there, but you also don't want to fall. That does put TiltingShiba kind of in between a rock and a hard place, so good job Saitama, you know, ready, kind of thinking about it in the long game sense with the Zapdos, because they were charging that up on the bench, right? Waiting for this kind of moment, and so there we go. There's that time limit. We said, hey, there wasn't a lot of time left, but yep, that is gonna be the 4 seconds on the clock, just coming in to pull Jinx in, because you're gonna want to sacrifice Jinx instead of a Mewtwo EX. Now we'll see if the Sabrina is actually there for Saitama, and I actually don't even have their deck. I'll put this for you guys in editing, but here as I'm commentating this live, I don't have their deck card list, I should say, right in front of me, so even I don't know while I do the commentary what is in the deck overall, but that's fine, I'm just saying. So this will be actually an X speed. Retreat cost is 1 less. I guess they may be thinking about, yep, there is the Zebstrika. I was going to say, because you can be, of course, using the Thunder Spear for hitting the bench. Now you're going to need to hit twice on that Mewtwo, so it would force maybe another retreat. It would kind of force some kind of action, I would say, from TiltingShiba. And really, you can run, but you can't hide kind of thing, right? Because TiltingShiba could still throw out the Mewtwo EX onto the active spot, and that would still be the case, right? It would still get KO'd. And so Professor's research is going to go down. Maybe you look for, okay, so they got 2 Pokeballs right here, one after the other. And so it will be another Ralts. And the way that things are looking, it actually is not looking good for TiltingShiba. You kind of could see they had a strong game early on, and then now we can see that the tables, it all has shifted, right? And so yes, you don't want that Mewtwo to fall if you can help it. Again, that's 2 prize points, and so here we go. It is going to be the retreat of Jinx right here, and send in that other Mewtwo EX card. Maybe deal that 50. So TiltingShiba, you know, this is now in between a rock and a hard place, right? Because now we have to figure out, well, is Saitama gonna retreat? Probably likely. Send that Zapdos in, and again, if they get the 3 heads, then that is gonna be at Oko Ono up in this piece, a 1-hit KO, and so we'll be waiting on the opponent right here, which is Saitama. There is that Pikachu EX down on the bench just for safe measure. This is definitely looking like Saitama's game to win right here, right now. We'll just have to see. That will be Zapdos going into that active spot. You got to be shaking a little bit of your TiltingShiba, but definitely has played a good game so far. These are all the big brain strategies, and here we go. You're going to flip 4 coins, going to need 3 of them heads to Oko Ono. There's the 1-hit KO, so it's going to be the heads, and it's going to be another head, so there's the 3. That is going to be tough if you're TiltingShiba. That was your full HP Mewtwo down and out. Absolutely brutal if you're TiltingShiba, but Saitama definitely sitting happy on this one. I don't know, you guys, are we going to send it to a game 3 right here? Because if TiltingShiba can somehow win still, then they would actually pick up the whole tourney, but man, not looking great so far. So they are going to send in Ralts right here. It's just rough. There's finally the Kirlia. I feel like they were waiting for Kirlia for so long in this matchup and did not have it because they had the Gardevoir in one of the earlier hand picks. And so, listen, the pickup, it just didn't happen in time, really. So, yep, there it is. I think that I was thinking the concession was coming, but no, TiltingShiba not going down without some kind of a fight, right? Praying for the RNGesus with these coin tosses, and They could, of course, send in the Pikachu. Yep, so there you go. That's the move, because Zapdos would have relied on the coin flips, right? And so could have even just got one heads or no heads even, and not knocked out this Kirlia, but there it is. That will be the finishing move. So Saitama winning game 2. We are sending this to a game 3. So once again, things will be kind of hidden from our view for a second. I'll try to get this up as quick as possible for you to see. Here we go. Again, it's just kind of relying on the streamer, you know, how fast do they get the visuals for us and stuff like that. So we did miss just a little bit. It looks like Saitama was the opening hand right here, going first and filling up that bench quickly. Once again, and TiltingShiba, looks like either the hand was devastating or they are just kind of waiting for maybe a secret here, keeping Mewtwo lying in wait. But yeah, they'll throw down the professor's research. They do need something, but it looks like there's going to be a Ralts. You know, obviously you want that Guardy as fast as possible, but you would like to have that Mewtwo EX to be the front and center. And so we'll now see Saitama, though. Just that definitely looks scary when you got a full bench that looks like that. Definitely brutal. And so one energy down, and this is going to be turn 4. Mewtwo EX finally drawn right here. Probably will throw that down. It looks like it will hit that center spot on the bench. And right now, Jinx going to be the one with 1 energy at the moment. Can either set that up for the retreat, or you can attack with that Jinx right now. We'll have to see several paths, I guess, that TiltingShiba could go for. Yep, they're considering, you know, taking that energy, maybe, maybe not. And so, yes, there it is. There's going to be the Jinx, and it does look like a Giovanni in play right here for TiltingShiba. We'll go ahead, throw this down. 60 damage right there on Pikachu. That's going to be half and half. And so, once again, you guys, you got to go to Limitless TCG. Check out any of the tournaments there. There are tournaments weekly for this game, and it's been really nice. But definitely Ursiiday. I'm leaving links, you know, in the description. I've put them on screen sometimes, and of course, if you've noticed on the left, there will be kind of like highlight cards as well, so that you guys can see these cards a little bit bigger, fully in the high resolution and whatnot. But yeah, that is going to be Saitama with the pickup on the point. Jinx is out of there. Again, not looking to lose Mewtwo, not really looking to have the damage on Mewtwo. TiltingShiba will put out Ralts in that top spot, in the active spot, we should say, but it looks like they also did draw the Sabrina, I believe, and so we're going to start trying to charge up this Mewtwo, but just feeling a little behind, you know, if you're TiltingShiba, especially after losing that Jinx. It's got to be tough. It's got to be brutal. And so, not looking to give Saitama that point right here. We'll use, of course, the X speed, bring Mewtwo in. After, of course, giving it that 1 energy. And so this definitely, it looks tough right here, but they will go ahead and Sabrina on out. All of the Pokemon that are on Saitama's side at least need 1 energy to retreat, and so you would either have to bait out that energy or the X speed to see them retreat, or we're going to see Saitama potentially peck for the 20, so there it is. It's going to be the X speed instead, so probably the better move. If you had it, go for it, because that Pikachu's still ready and raring to go, right? It still has that 2 energy, able to attack for the full 90 and start charging up that Pikachu on the bench. It looks like TiltingShiba's just really, this is definitely feeling rough if you're TiltingShiba, and so, you know, sometimes Sabrina, it kind of serves the purpose of like an energy removal, if you consider, like, you know, the potential for retreat and whatnot. That's why it's nice to have those X speeds if you're on the other side. And so they will have to take Mewtwo out to not give up the prize points. But unfortunately, Ralts also is going to be that Oko, you know, from Pikachu. So it's just, ultimately, it's not looking good either way. But it will be, of course, just 1 point for Ralts, whereas it would have been the game for Mewtwo EX. So that's kind of what we're looking for, and that's kind of what we're thinking. It's just sort of the lesser of all evils first. TiltingShiba, Saitama gonna take it out right there. So yep, this will be very, very close to the end, I would imagine, folks, because you're gonna see Saitama pick up another prize point right here. So the big unfortunate part of this is that Mewtwo, only with that 1 energy, it will not be able to deal all that 150 damage, even losing the 2 Psychic. You know, you just gotta get this Pikachu out of there. And so unfortunately, not a whole lot of options. This is definitely looking tough. It's just not looking good. So they are gonna be able to attack right here or retreat, and they will go ahead and choose the retreat for probably the obvious reason, but it's kind of delaying a certain inevitable, possibly. So, yep, the Sabrina goes down, and that might be it, because there you go. Yep, there's the concession with that Sabrina. That's going to do it. Saitama is going to be your winner of Ursiiday's Pocket Weekly number 2. Absolutely brutal. The Mewtwo came out swinging, but then the Pikachu EX in the long game, it did come out on top. So congratulations to Saitama from Japan. I'll show the standings and all that on screen here. But you guys, please forgive me. I've been dealing with the sickness, so I don't know if my voice and my mind, they definitely weren't 100% right here. Thank you so much for bearing with me. We'll be back with more. Click an end screen to see some others in the meantime, and thanks for viewing.